welcome to another episode of New to Me. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and today, my friends, we are taking a look at the Godox SL 60 watt. These are the lights that everybody's been crazy about. These are the aperture killers, but let's talk about it. This is going to be a multi-part series because I found this deal on eBay. Now, normally I don't like to buy things on eBay, but this was too good a deal to pass up. It wasn't. We'll get into that. There are some things wrong and some things I'm trying to make right with all the stuff that this came with. First off, these were $150 each on eBay, but we also, not only do we get the lights, but we got the stands, we got the little cup that goes over the light here, and we got the remote control, and we got this super awesome cord. Now, it came with a couple of extras, like these very cheap stands, which I will talk about. It came with a red, green, blue, and yellow gel, which is super awesome. It also came with a barn door, and the barn door has an eggshell grid inside for softening your light. Again, we will talk about all of this. It also came with this very solid beauty dish. Now there is a hole in here and you can kind of punch that out with your finger. I'm going to show you how to fix that so that it doesn't pop out on you. And oh yes, we also get a remote if I haven't mentioned it, which is super awesome. Always great to have a remote control. And lastly, it came with a 37-inch parabolic softbox. I just set one of these up, and even it was hard to set up, but it is super awesome to have. And again, we will get into that. I will show you how to set this up. We will do multiple videos to show you this system. However, today we are going to mainly focus on the light itself. So let's jump right in and take a look. Okay, so here we are with the actual unit itself, and first off, this thing is made of solid metal. I love it. Even the front part here, the little Bowens mount, even that is metal, whereas on the GVM, it was not metal, it was very cheap plastic. So, 2 thumbs up there. Really love the fact that this thing is solid. Swinging around here, we have a very nice rigid plastic handle. The mount is also made of the same plastic, and it is a hand crank mount. And with the handle, it makes it a dream to adjust. Very, very, very cool. Loving that. And let's go ahead and bring this up a little bit more. There we go. Really loving that. Let's spin around to this side here, and there is this little knob right here at the bottom. And let me see if I can get this actually a little bit higher. I'll just raise it up. There's a little knob right here, and that's because there is an umbrella mount. That's right, photographers. They got you covered. If you want to bounce or diffuse with an umbrella, we got you covered, like I said. Some other things I do want to talk about, and that is the Bowens mount release here. It is just okay. It is not my favorite thing on the light. It is spring-loaded. It is a little bit rickety. It's fine. It's a minor complaint I have. I just wish it were a little bit stronger, but it still works beautifully and should last you a good long time. Let's go ahead and slap on. Let's go ahead. All you do is put that in, give it a little twist, and you're good to go. You want to release this, pull it back, and it's just that simple. Made fairly well, fairly solid. Probably the first thing I'll break because I'm a klutz. So let's go ahead and swing around to the back and check out the controls. Okay, so here we are at the back, and first off we get a very nice big power plug, a nice switchy on-off button. We get a very nice huge screen, which I will go into more detail in a second, and we get a very nice soft clicky but very satisfying plastic and metal brightness adjustment, which is very cool. And of course, you press that in to select when you're going through the menu system. And then you get this GRCH button, and that is going to work with your remote control, and that is where all your channels are, which we will get into because I was actually surprised by this feature. So let's go ahead and turn this thing on. And right away when we turn it on, we are at 10%. And no, I am not aiming this thing at my face because I will go blind at 10%. It is that bright, kids. But As you can see, we get an absolutely beautiful screen. Now, you can hear fan noise. There is going to be some fan noise. And as you get brighter, the fan noise just gets a little bit louder. But I'll be honest, when I was 4 or 5 feet away, you really can't hear it. And especially when you put a giant softbox on it or the barn doors, then you really can't hear it. It is a non-issue. Now, I know some YouTubers were complaining about the fan noise and trying to install their own fans. Don't. There is nothing wrong with the fan in this unit. I completely disagree with what some people have been doing. I've been saying about the fan noise. It is fine. Now you get this beautiful screen right here, and you are getting not only the brightness, which you can control by turning the dial, and it is very, very smooth when you go through the different degrees of brightness. One thing I will say is, again, you can hear that the fan has gotten just a little bit louder, but it's fine. Now, one of the things I really love about this unit is they give you how hot the unit is running. Right now, it's running 30 degrees Celsius. Very, very cool. So you can protect your lights and so that your lights will not overheat. That is a great feature. So that is very cool, but let's go ahead and turn this down to 10% and let's talk about the channels and the remote. So we go down to the GRCH button here and you press that in and you have A through F. So you have 6 channels right here. And then if you press that one more time, you get up to 16 different channels. That's right, the remote can actually control 96 of these suckers. Now let's go ahead and push the brightness button in to select, and that is amazing. Not that I'll ever have that many of these lights, but the fact that there are multiple that many channels to control that many lights is a giant plus in my book. Let me go back to what I have the remote set to, which is A. And let's go back to channel 1. And it is just that simple. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the remote because the remote is a little strange, but also does some nice things too. Now, it is this very small remote, and I will try to kind of hold it here so that you can see it. The screen is not lit. That is the first thing that I didn't like. There is no backlighting for the screen, so you will have to use a flashlight or kind of try to catch some light so that you could see it if you are in the dark. And when you turn it on, let's go ahead and hit the on button. And let me get this right where you can see it. And if you notice, when I turn this on, the light jumps straight to 25%. That's because you can only go down to 25% on the remote. I don't know why you can't go below 25%, down to 10% on the remote. It really doesn't make any sense. That is yet another kind of little downside. But taking a look at the remote, you hit the center button, and if you had bicolor lights, you could control the color temperature. But we do not. This is a daylight only, so that function is not going to work. And this is set to channel 1, A, which is what the light is set onto, and we can very easily step up here by pressing, or we can hold down, and this thing will jump up very nicely like that. And again, it is fairly smooth. I do note that when you use the remote, there is a little bit more of a jump than when you use the dial, but it's still absolutely fine. Let's go back down to 25%, and let me show you another really nice feature about this light, something that I discovered just playing with it. I didn't even know that the light did this, and that is, let's say you're working on the set and you want to go review some footage and it's hot outside. When you press the off button here on the remote, the fan is still going. So while your light is off, the fan is actually still cooling your light, which is super, super awesome. The only thing to remember is that at the end of the day, when you're done with the light, if you're using them in a studio, don't forget to walk over and flip off the button. Otherwise, your fan is going to be on all night and you're going to be using a lot of electricity. But that is another cool feature. So while you're not even using the light, it's going to cool. That is awesome. One other thing I did want to cover, and let's go ahead and take this down to 10%, is the viewing angle of the screen. And again, this is a slight downside, but then again, if you have the remote, or if you just take a step back and look up, it is not as much of an issue. But as you tilt the screen, you could see that because it is an old school LED screen, is not a backlit, very nice fancy screen like some of the GMVs have. The visibility, the angle visibility is not very good. It just becomes a mush. Hopefully if they decide to upgrade these, they will put a better monitor, a better screen on the back. But right now, it's not really a downside. It's just something that I noticed was a slight inconvenience. But that's it. Those are the controls of the Godox SL60W. So that's it for part 1 of my review on the Godox SL60W. I really love this thing. I cannot wait to start using it in everything that I do. Very, very excited. It is absolutely a good option if you cannot afford an aperture. Even the old apertures are still over $500, which is a lot of money when you are just starting out on a budget, or you are young or a student, or just want a nice big bright light source for fun. Love this thing. I cannot recommend this more. Believe the hype. The rumors are true. The Godox is an awesome, awesome piece of equipment. And if you have any questions or comments, like always, you can drop them in the notes below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell button to be notified when we drop brand new videos. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and this is New to Me. And I'll see ya in part 2.